So you're looking at buying a Bear Creek Arsenal. So today we're going to find out if it's a budget-friendly rifle or an inaccurate piece of junk. Welcome back to Stovepipe TV. I'm Adam, and nobody's here today with me, which is not a bad thing. So what we're doing today is we're going to test some accuracy out of this 20-inch Bear Creek heavy fluted 20-inch barrel. I have a suspicion that this thing is god awful. We're going to test at 100 yards. I've got a few different types of ammo. We'll go over that a little later. And I've also got a 10.5 Bear Creek barrel that we can test maybe at 100. We'll see. Depends on how the weather's going to show up or hold out, I guess. So I guess first up, let's get a 0 in. Let's just make sure that this thing is on paper, and then we will go from there. All right. So first things first, I want to get a confirmed 0. We just have some standard X-Tac 55 grain. This thing was zeroed with 62, but I just want to verify that it is on the paper. For those of you that don't believe that this is a Bear Creek, that should be your giveaway, the side charging. I changed the handguard. I hate the Bear Creek handguards. They just look goofy, and they're functional, but they're just not for me. So let's just get a confirmed 0, or at least see if we're on the paper. We're going to go dead center. We're at about 25 yards, so this should be no problem. All right. There's our 5 shots. It looks like we're a little to the right. And maybe low an inch. But I believe that's good for the testing. As a matter of fact, we'll go ahead and move it. Actually, you know what? We're going to leave it alone. We're on the paper. And we'll be able to see how the different grains affect where this bullet's going. It also doesn't help that it's very windy today. But I think at 100 yards, it really shouldn't matter. So that's this rifle. Let's go ahead and get a confirmed 0 on the 10.5 inch. All right, so this rifle should look a little familiar. This is my inspired Mark 18 build. And it does have a 10.5 inch Bear Creek barrel. It was left over from another project. The original 10.5 I had in this, the gas port wasn't drilled properly, so it wouldn't cycle. Had this barrel laying in the parts bin. I was like, throw it in there, let's see. And it's had a couple thousand through it, and really don't have any issues. But let's test. Let's see if we're on 0. I would be extremely surprised if this thing has any kind of 0 at all. All right. I can't remember if the last time I shot this was suppressed or not, so it might be crazy over gas, but we'll see. believe I pulled that one. Let me see. It looks like everything is grouped together, which is a little crazy. Let's see. Yeah, that looks like it's grouped together to me. All right, so Bear Creek barrels shoot bottom right. That's the end of the video, so we'll see. I'm just kidding. Now that we've got a confirmed 0, let's move it down to 100. And let's try out some different ammos. All right, so up first is some 62 grain M855. Hopefully my targets stay up because, like I said, it's windy, and I was having to build like a tape bridge down there to hold the targets up. But my past experience with this, the 62 grain does not like this 20-inch barrel. But let's give it a shot. Go for the top. I pulled that one. Okay. So that's our 62 grain. Let's get loaded up with, well, up next is going to be the 75 grain Saber black tips. We're loaded up with 5 rounds of the Saber 75 grain black tips. These are like I don't want to say an expanding hollow point, but they're a polymer tip, I guess. And these things do some crazy stuff in soft targets. But, all right. So we're going to go for middle target, 75 grain Saber black tips. Okay. From my scope, those look really good. All right. So last but not least is the AAC 77 grain OTMs. I've never shot any of these before. I don't do a lot of quote unquote precision shooting. Most of the shooting we do is within, it's either steel or it's the silhouettes, which are usually within like 10 yards. So these OTMs look crazy. Let's load these up. And if anybody's wondering, this is a Ryoton 1:8 on top of this thing. It's the closest thing I could find to like the Vortex, like Razor, Bronze, FTE, whatever they call their color. It's pretty cool. The reticle's a bit weird inside, but it's all right for the price. So anyway, we're loaded up. 77 grains, OTMs. We've got 5 rounds. And I'm going to go for this bottom target, and hopefully I don't blow this barrel off. It's right in front of me. Pause. All right. Let's go down and check them out. All right, so I have decided to not do the 10.5 at 100, just because I can't even see the dot. I can't see these red squares on the target. So here's our initial 0. Now, mind you, like these bottom ones here were the 10.5, but these here were our 20-inch barrel. So as you can see, it is to the right and low, but that makes sense. The being low at 25 makes sense. But definitely should have clicked the scope over a few to the left, or a few, bringing it to the left, to kind of counter that. But I wanted to see how each of these grouped. So for the 62 at 100, and these were with 55 grain as well. So 62 at 100, 62 grain at 100, we're definitely still right. The elevation is good. And then we've got this one flyer down here. But if we didn't have this flyer, that's not terrible. I mean, it's definitely probably like a 2 to 3 maybe. Because this would be 2 inches between this one and this one. So you could say roughly a 2-inch MOA at 100. It's not terrible. This is the best I've ever seen with 62 grain out of that 20-inch barrel. From past experience, the 62 grain the 20-inch barrel just does not like it. And I don't know why. But normally it's like all over the paper, and that was the kind of whole concept of this video, was to figure out what was going on. And I had a bunch of different calibers, or a bunch of different grains, and I wanted to see. So, sorry, targets were blown away, so we've got random junk holding them down. But this is the 75 grain out of the 20-inch barrel at 100. And it's about the same if you take this flyer out. That's roughly an inch, and then maybe a half or so between these, I would say. I'm very impressed with this. The 75 grains, I think, are shooting the best, with my original 0. Well, and then you look at the 77 grains, and you count one. You could take one of these flyers off, and that's 3 shots within an inch. So, I mean, that's not terrible. This is probably an inch and a half between these two, and some of that could have been me. Some of that could have been the gun. But at the end of the day, I'm very impressed for a sub $300 upper. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. And maybe in the future I could do some more testing with the 75 and 77 grain and kind of see what's running the best out of it. All right, so after you've seen the results, it's not bad for a $300 upper, shooting under 2 MOA. That's pretty good. That's actually impressive. And I've had suspicions with this barrel. Maybe that was just shooting off, or the groups weren't there, or something wasn't right. But I don't think it was the gun. I think it was actually me. So I'm not afraid to admit that. Would I recommend it? Yeah, if you don't have the budget for a $1,400 upper, cold hammer forged barrel, chrome line barrel, whatever the case may be, for something you want to take out to the range, clink, possibly even do some hunting with. I don't know what game you're taking with a 5.56, but to each his their own. I do recommend it. I know there's a lot of people that have a lot of bad experiences, and maybe I'm just lucky. So all of my experiences have been good. This barrel does its job. Bear Creek is not bad for me anyway. If I could do it again, I probably would not get a side charger because this is kind of goofy. It was interesting. It was a cool concept when I first got it, but now that I've actually been using it, I don't like it. But teachers are wrong. So we're gonna wrap this video up. Hope you guys learned something. Probably not. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Probably not. But if you did, please give us a like, thumbs up, comment. Any other ideas you want to see, let us know. And hopefully these two goobers will be out here to help me next time. But no, it's just been a busy week for everybody. And like yesterday I came and was able to cut the grass, but I wasn't able to shoot. So, that was fun. So, enough rambling. Let's end the video. Bye-bye.